before we toss to Eric, he's got the word on the street. We actually have some footage this week of Shane Steichen, the Colts head coach, talking to Anthony Richardson.
I'm stupid. You're smart. I was wrong. You were right. You're the best. I'm the worst. You're very good looking. I'm not attractive.
And that's perfect. That's Shane Steichen right there, all right? I mean, Anthony Richardson is back, baby. Let's do it. They let Joe Flacco be the starter the last 2 weeks. Both games they didn't have a chance of winning no matter who the quarterback was. They lose them both, which they were supposed to do. And now Anthony Richardson comes back. I don't know if the Colts know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. But the Colts got Anthony Richardson back there, and it's a lot more exciting to see him back there than Joe Flacco back there. So I'm excited about it. I bought some Anthony Richardson and some dips in some fantasy football leagues. I just traded for him against Markus. He gave him away to me, so thank you, Markus. I got him in another couple dynasty leagues, so happy to snag him for the low when people were down on him. So hopefully he can, get the rushing floor back up, make those layups, get the deep balls, and just learn from his 2-week stint on the bench. What do you guys think about that?
I am pessimistic. I am a Colts fan, typically a more negative side of things. I'm just not sure from a real football perspective if it's going to happen. From fantasy, I really don't know what to expect. Injuries, bye weeks are coming up, Bye-Mageddon, week 12 and week 14. People probably dropped Richardson. You probably can go and pick him up off free agency. And I mean, you could start him, he potentially could have a really high ceiling, but he could also get you 5 points. I honestly don't know where to go with it. But from a real football perspective, I just think the Colts are a lost ship with no captain.
Yeah, I'm on the side of, this isn't, he's not magically going to turn into Cam Newton over a 2-week period. I think that was more about Flacco disappointing than thinking that Richardson's going to be any better than what he was at the beginning of the year. So if he wasn't productive first half of the season, I don't think that's going to change.
Is this more of on the coach Steichen, or what's going on? Because Flacco looked fine, and then it's like as soon as they say, Flacco's going to be our guy and fully prepare for him, 100% commit, they look awful. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. What's going on? It's like, Richardson doesn't look good, but is it the coach? Is he not playing or making the right play calls? I don't know. From an outside perspective, I just don't know.
I don't think it's a good look when you go and say Flacco's our quarterback the rest of the season. Then he has a bad couple of weeks, and then snap back to Richardson, because that just tells me that he doesn't really know what's going on. If Flacco's the better quarterback, go with him until you're eliminated. Which, if they're only 2.5 games out of the lead in the division, you should still be playing whoever's going to give you the best chance at winning. And I still think that's Flacco, despite the last couple of weeks. But if it wasn't, you never should have benched Richardson in the first place.
I'm excited for the Colts. I'm excited to see what happens with Anthony Richardson, because he shows a lot of wow moments, and that's what I want to see. I do not like watching Joe Flacco complete the ball for little tiny dunks, but now wheels down for all the Colts receivers because he's not a very good passer. So, but maybe about the same for the deep ball. Maybe we get some deep balls.
The thing is, it's probably wide open to be back. Yeah, if they're wide open. But with Richardson, he just had some time to relax, And if you look back at those schedules, it was a lot of Flacco playing against bad teams at first, and then he had to go up against a good team, and he laid an egg. And here we are.
He's extremely raw. He's only played 20 games as a starter, ever. And maybe it was to protect him. Both these defenses they played the last 2 games were pretty good. They weren't expected to win either of those games, no matter who the quarterback was. They lost them both. So maybe he wanted to keep his confidence where it should be, because he might have played complete crap against those 2 guys. So maybe that's the bright side of things.
Where? At the dumpster? Benching, that'll help his confidence.
Maybe they had a separate sidebar conversation with him.
I think being benched is the worst thing you can do
on that. Yeah.
Well, look at Bryce Young
taking himself out.
Yeah, we can clearly see a big gain from Bryce Young after him being benched.
He's won the last 2 games, right? Gets benched, comes back, wins a couple games. Maybe we see Anthony Richardson beat the Jets. I don't know.
What do you guys think about the Colts playoffs implication? I mean, they're 2.5 games back on the Texans. Like, obviously they're going to roll out Richardson, but like, what's happening in the division? Like, do you think they actually have a chance, or Texans going to roll away?
Texans swept them, so they're not going to win a tiebreaker. They're too far back. The Colts have a lot of difficult teams. I think they have the Lions coming up after the Jets, or right after, a few weeks later. So they've still got a lot of tough games. At this point, I just want the Colts to get a better draft pick and just make the team better, because there's too many. The 7th seed in the AFC is wide open, but it's wide open for the good teams, and the Colts aren't one of them. I would rather, if I was to make a bet, I'd still bet on the Jets to make the playoffs before the Colts.
I hope they lose every game. I hope they lose every game, and I hope Anthony Richardson learns how to make the layups. That's what I hope happens.
Well, if the Colts lose the rest of their games with Anthony Richardson as their quarterback, he will not be their quarterback next year. I can tell you that.
All right, guys.
So whether or not he's making layups, it doesn't matter.